Welcome. Today an astrological analysis about the death of Alexei Navalny, the Putin critic, who survived a life-threatening poison attack in 2022, and after this he was in a Russian prison where he died yesterday. And I want to show you in this video the astrological aspects related to his death. But first, a warm welcome here on my YouTube channel. Before I begin, I am a Vedic astrologer, and this video is not about to endorse any political opinion or declaring anyone guilty, but purely it is about what we can see in his horoscope regarding his sudden death, because there we find interesting clues. This is his birth chart I use for this analysis. Alexei was born on June the 4th, 1976 in Russia, and he has a very interesting horoscope. Many might know that I'm currently writing a book about the fixed stars, which are very important energies that can often be significant in a person's destiny. And Alexei Navalny has a combination that is very special. Namely, he has the planet Mercury exactly conjunct the fixed star Algol. And Venus, planet Venus, is in a conjunction with the fixed star Aldebaran. And I will explain more about that shortly. And his moon is in connection with the fixed star Regulus. This already speaks of a very significant life. His ascendant, the Sun, is together with planet Venus and Mercury in the 10th house, indicating that in his life, his professional orientation and career played a very important role, taking on a leadership position, and that was a part of his mission. And with the Sun, it often involves political engagement. The Moon in his first house indicates that he is also seen and recognized from others, because the Moon represents the masses, the people, and this also gives him fame. And the Moon sits in the heart of the Lion, because there we have the fixed star Regulus. And Regulus is the heart of the star constellation Lion. A very significant fixed star, which also speaks of power and leadership qualities, and that there is a connection to the ancestors and his important mission here on earth. I will not go into all the details of his horoscope, just the things that are most relevant for his destiny. And there we have the fixed star Algol, conjunct with planet Mercury. And Algol is often associated with tragic events and with losing one's head. And basically that was his fate. Although the cause of his death is unknown and official, they say he was on a walk and simply collapsed and died. Of course, he was not in a good physical condition in this prison, and the aftermath of this poisoning he experienced. Aldebaran, another very important fixed star. Among all the fixed stars, he plays a very important role because he is the most powerful fixed star. And he is sitting in his 10th house, which signifies success and power and recognition. And that's exactly what he experienced. He was a serious opponent of Putin. And Jupiter, the planet Jupiter in his 9th house, in the sign of Aries, made him a fighter for justice. He was also a lawyer before. And now let's see how the stars were positioned on his day of his death and what energetically caused his death. It is very important to understand the stars never determine life or death. Only the soul decides when to depart from life. But in the stars we can indeed discern certain patterns that are related to his day of death. And yesterday, on February the 16th, Mars was at 8 degrees and Mars was aspecting his moon at 6 degrees in the sign of Leo. And Leo is his first house. And this is also an attack to his physical body, because the first house stands for your physical body. And Mars also aspecting his Ketu with his 4th aspect. And Ketu is the lower lunar node, and he sits with Jupiter in the sign of Aries. And Jupiter rules the 8th house, which deals with death and transformation. And Ketu and Mars, this combination can be associated with aggression, with terror and violence. Maybe you have seen my video I made shortly before the terrorist attack in Israel happened. And there I also spoke of this very special conjunction between Ketu and Mars that's really explosive. And the Sun moved in the sign of Aquarius 3 days before. And this is his 7th house. And the 7th house represents our opponents. A strong opponent came. And the Sun made also a 90-degree angle to Mercury. And Mercury is connected to this fixed star Algol. And on that day, the moon was exactly also in transit over this fixed star. This is really amazing. And the moon rules his 12th house, which is associated with things coming to an end. But now let's also look at the life cycles, because the life cycles are very important in Vedic astrology, and they give us very precise information about what is currently important in our lives. And he was in the cycle of Rahu, and Rahu rules his 7th house of opponents. And Rahu is often a very unpredictable energy. And this was more activated because just 3 days ago the Sun moved into the sign of Aquarius. And his life cycle would have changed on March the 5th into Rahu, Mercury. And often changes occur in our lives at these transitions, often even shortly before the transition starts in the next life cycle. And his Mercury is in the connection with the fixed star Algol, which is activated through this life cycle Rahu, Mercury. And like I told you, the fixed star Algol is about losing one's head. And there are no coincidences to this. And Sometimes we do not really understand what's happening, but we can see that the stars are connected to our lives very deeply. And he was a brave opponent, and he challenged Putin. And despite knowing he would be arrested, he traveled back to Russia because he spent some time in Germany, and he knew essentially what awaited him when he returned to Russia. And one more thing before I end. The sign of Taurus, where his sun sits in, is also connected with the motherland. And with the sun in Taurus, this also means he had a deep love and connection to the motherland. Maybe this was one of the reasons he returned to Russia. And he stood up for his principles. He was a fighter for justice and against corruption. And it is not about judging. I believe we all need to have more courage and to stand up for our rights. And this does not mean that we should act out with violence or harming others in this process, but bravely standing up for our rights. That's so important. In that sense, feel free to share this video, and I love you.